Hey everybody, Ricky Rios to give my case study for the parental apathy situation that we read. In this case study, there's a new assistant principal named Mrs. Rose. She's found that the parent involvement is very low at the school she started to work. The principal, her boss, states that he initially tried to gather parents for more involvement when he started the job, but became quickly discouraged. Mrs. Rose, with further pushing, decides to host a meeting regarding parent involvement, despite mild protests from the principal that it will not be successful. The night of the meeting, only 8 parents attend the meeting. The principal contends that they should not go forward with the meeting. So what is the problem? The problem here is there's a lack of involvement from parents and community, and the principal is very contesting in all the efforts of Mrs. Rose to find a solution. In other words, she wants there to be community involvement, but the principal states that there won't be any involvement, and so she's trying to find a solution. So what we do know is Mrs. Rose's last class within her degree program for building leadership and administration dealt with public relations, so she knows that there is a need to get the community involved. She knows that the statistics show that when a community is involved, it usually leads to more school success. The principal, we know that the principal he's tried to get the community involved but had no success, and that they've had an initial meeting with very poor attendance. We also know the principal appears very apprehensive and pessimistic to continue to try and get the community involved. And the highlighted event that we were talking about, discussed with parent involvement, that the principal tried. The event that has been discussed before was where the principal tried to get parents to work in the cafeteria. Not very intriguing, in my opinion. What do we need to know? Have there been any people who have asked to volunteer, or businesses that want to be a part of the school? Why is the principal opposed to a PTA, PTO? It did state that he was opposed to both of those. Why? Has there ever been a back to school night, parents' night, your initial kick off the school year activity? What information have parents been given about the role of the school, the teachers, support staff, and the parents in terms of involvement? The reading said that, or the principal thinks that parents don't want to be involved. Well, what do they know? Do they know what the role of the school is? That they're not just educators and quote unquote daycare providers for their kids. Do they know what the role of the teachers is? Do they know what the role of support staff is? And what can they do? What does the culture of the community look like? Is the administration going about recruitment in the right way for the majority of the people? Do they not understand what the purpose of community involvement is for? In other words, are we talking to a mostly Hispanic neighborhood in the wrong way? There's different ways of talking to different cultures, and are they going about it the right way? So my plan of action. First step would be to continue with the meeting as planned. The principal wanted to cancel it. I would say go ahead and keep on going with it. The parents came out. They're giving you their time, which ones did show. If you cancel it, you are causing more of a problem. This would be more detrimental to the situation. A parent's time is valuable. Show them that it's important and that you do care about their time as the administrator. Next, start having consistent contact with those parents in attendance to build rapport. This would include a literature, webpage, social media, phone calls, all those ideas that we talk about in every class about how you get your word out. Start doing those. And the most successful ones are probably going to be the easiest ones: Twitter, Facebook, things that most people check every day, even though they're not trying to. Third, gather feedback from those involved on what they want to see the school do. What do they want to know about their children when they're in school? A short questionnaire, feedback slips within a school, anything is going to give you an idea. It's going to tell you, why aren't they involved? What stopped them from getting engaged? What do they see as the school's image, and what do they want to do in the school as a parent? If you want people to get involved, ask them what they want to do. That's going to be the quickest and easiest way that you can build rapport and know what you're doing. Just ask. sometimes that's all you have to do. And if you can do it anonymously, that's going to be even helpful too. Some parents don't want to sign their name on the thing, as they're the one saying our school has a poor image because of whatever it might be. So make it anonymous as well. Start recruiting voluntary teacher involvement. Get the teachers involved. Parents want to do activities where they can be involved with the teachers and support staff. This isn't a parent-run activity all the time. It's not always a teacher-led activity all the time. It can be both. Teachers can start building that rapport as well. And then I would immediately start opening the school for community functions. Let the people know that you're there as a resource. You're there as, part of the community. And all it takes is a simple form most of the time saying, hey, you may use the building under these criteria and, whatever else it might be. Last part of my plan of action, do another event. Do another parent night. Do an activity where the 8 parents that came, next one, have them bring another person, one other parent from, whether it's, their spouse, their significant other, whatever. Have them bring one more person. Things like that can be done just as easily as the first meeting was done. It might still be a small engagement, but right now you have 0 engagement, so something is better than nothing. Just because it's not super successful doesn't mean that it's not successful. Resolving issues based on promoting the success of all students. Parent involvement, that should be the keystone fixture of almost any school. It's the other half of your teachers and your administration and your employees. It's the parents. When students feel that their parents are involved, it can be a source of pride and presence. This meeting was a new beginning to having that involvement. It appears that the principal is frustrated and pessimistic towards the idea of having a parent involvement. Maybe he doesn't need to be the quote-unquote face of community involvement. You've got a new teacher who not very many people know, Mrs. Rose. Let her become the new face. Let her be the one that's going to drive community involvement to be more than what it's been. This might be because either one, the parents don't like the principal, so we're going to have somebody new do it. My thoughts and feelings on this whole situation. My initial feeling, I genuinely felt like the community does not like the principal, which is why there's not any involvement. He stated he did try, and it was unsuccessful. Well, maybe his first idea was a cafeteria thing. I don't think parents want to come serve in a cafeteria. They want to come see a classroom. They want to be a part of a fundraiser, something like that, where they can be hands-on working with kids. Maybe you can do a cafeteria thing. I do agree with that. But just because you did that one, it doesn't mean it's the end-all, be-all of limiting parenting and parental involvement. So maybe they just don't like him because he has bad ideas, or he's not a very personable administrator. My thoughts. I felt that even though despite the principal's image, parents might be questioning how they can be involved. I don't really like the principal, but how can I still be involved with my child? So maybe the community really doesn't want to help out. You'd think there'd be some parents that are saying, hey, how can I be involved? Thirdly, I felt the frustration that Mrs. Rose must have. It's probably upsetting. New teacher, and you're coming into a place where you want to get the community involved. You've been taught to have the community involved. Parents are a vital part of every school program, and you come into it only to find out that you don't have any and you don't really know why. So collaborating with families and community members. The first meeting was the first step of collaboration with the community. Once again, it might not be successful, with your first site, but it's going to do something. It's going to get you a chance to get feedback. It's going to get you a chance to say hello to more people of the school. Anything, right, as I said before, anything right now is better than what has been happening in terms of involvement with the community. So this meeting was that first step. Using the different forms of communication. I slightly mentioned, I personally check Facebook. and I can come across my own school's webpage without even trying, or Facebook page without even trying. And I learn something sometimes, or I see a picture taken of something that occurred that I didn't go to or I didn't see with my own eyes, and I get to read about it and I get to know about it. So with these different forms of communication, a lot of them web-based, people are going to feel more involved with their school, even though they're not necessarily trying to. If events held relate anything to learning in the classroom or a focus on education, there can be a great impact. Parents can be a free resource to a school who are far more invested than any hired support staff. And I know that's not all teachers and support staff, but you could hire somebody, and it might be just as well to have a parent off the street come in and help. They're going to be far more invested with most of their children's education than somebody who's collecting a check. Not always, but it is possible. How does this meet the diverse needs of the community? You don't really know the cultural climate of the community. So, once again, doing the fact finding, and asking questions of the people in the community that you are trying to meet. What can we do as an administration, as a school, to be more involved? Like I said before, it's a question. What can we do? You're going to meet people, and that's how you're going to learn the culture of the community. So having more consistent community gatherings where there'll be a chance to understand what the parents or community members want to achieve. You can ask questions, you can do things like that, or you can just have more meetings or community gatherings, do a chili supper or something like that. Who knows? That's going to get people to come in, and even if they donate, there's no requirement for something like that. You're hosting an event where if you get enough volunteers to help out, you're going to host an event where people can come in and there's nothing expected of them except to eat a meal or donate some money for their meal. Once again, a very easy idea. And how does this help with other community resources? Within my plan of action, I outlined I've been talking about all these different events that you can do to get the community involved. You could even have the community host something for the school. Do a business night or a career fair where you can have people come in throughout the community and present to others, present to the students what they do and how their business affects the community. And then lastly, I also mentioned opening the school, providing the chance for people to use it at their disposal for community events. It's just another community resource where if there's a staff member present, if it's a teacher, if it's an administrator, an outside event offers, once again, more face time with the people of the community. If they don't want to be engaged for a school activity, maybe if it's a non-school activity, you're going to have more people come out. And if you have a couple of teachers there, they can promote their school. They can talk about what they're trying to do. And there's another way to get more people involved. So in this situation, I would stay the course and almost flood the zone with ideas. Not to an annoying point, but find out more information and start doing more. When a community feels shut off from the school, it's going to take a little bit of time to build back that rapport, and doing it subtly sometimes and sometimes doing it in a very direct manner. You're going to learn a lot about what you can be doing as an administrator to help get those people into the school. So this is my case study. If you guys have any questions, feel free to please ask me via the Google site. So thank you.